Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, community. So this is Mike from Helium Street, and I just wanted to kind of bring everybody on board here. We've got a couple of communities kind of converging here today. We've got our Funcles on, and we have
morning, everybody.
What might be some folks out in the Helium Street community as well that might be viewing, wondering what the heck's going on, and so. A lot of changes moving forward for both communities kind of coming together. So yeah, hey guys, how's it going today? How is everybody doing?
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mike. Good
morning. Good morning. So yeah, this is a kind of our introduction to kind of bringing in change to both the Funcles community and the Helium Street community, and a lot of reasons for that, a lot of good reasons. It's an exciting time for us and not only the SCP community, but as well as the Helium community, kind of getting on board with some new ideas. So yeah, I'll just kind of open it up for discussion, guys. Good to see everybody this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. It's a really nice place you got here. I hope we don't like mud all over the carpets and that's kind of what we do. For those of you that are the Helium Street people that are confused as to who all these bearded men are in Mike's living room. My name is Jeff. Over there is Chum Swanson, Shardy B, and our friend David, Liquid Bread, on the ones and DJ twos. We used to call ourselves the Funcles because we were the fun uncles to the ScPrime community, and we had a little YouTube, and we met Mike over there, and Mike has been on with us a couple times, and we talked about setting up all of hardware and decentralized physical infrastructure, adventuresome toys, and we decided to take this a step further and talk about the whole of the on-chain.
Yeah, and I think that we kind of bringing together in the on-chain nation is kind of like our new rebranding of this community, and I really like to emphasize that term too. This is very community oriented, and that's kind of the purpose of all this, is to bring folks together and support things that we see value in, and just kind of satisfy all of our interests. And I think some of those interests overflow into a lot of other people's interests too. So
I think so too, and I think our kind of tentative plan that we've discussed, and everybody that's seen the Funcles, they know that we kind of run an impromptu ship. We like going live, and so I think the plan is with Funcles is we're going to continue to do the Saturday show, but then we're also going to integrate. We're going to add some other content. So the Funcles will be a channel. We'll keep doing the Helium. Mm-hmm. We'll talk Weather XM. We'll talk server, we'll talk gear, we'll talk hardware, and these will all kind of be different sections under this on-chain nation.
Right.
And then I'll be sure to sneak in some crappy NFTs and some shit coins to round out the whole infrastructure. Because what's the point of getting anywhere and then not just betting it all on black, right?
Right. And I wanted to just kind of touch on real quick, the Helium Street brand, if you will, if you want to call it a brand, really originated as a kind of a support, to support the community, the Helium community, and really, it was really focused on a couple of things. It was focused on hotspot installation. It was focused on antenna installation, and really was very, very specific. And it was intended to be that way. That was where people went to learn how to install hotspots. And to do antennas and to do it right, in a safe way. There's a lot of details related to that. I got that niche. Okay. So, and I think that, looking at the way that the Helium project in general is kind of like transitioning, I key off a lot of the comments in the videos that I publish for Helium installation. And when you look at the comments, what you see is a significant reduction in people's their interest in learning more about how to install hotspots, because for two reasons. One is that they've already done it. They've already got their hotspots set up, and they got the antennas in the air, and they're doing what they want to do with that project. And the other part of it is that that project as a whole has started to settle in. and has taken a little bit of a slowdown. And so really, we've got this community. Let's try to continue to support the community with maybe some new ideas.
Man,
And
settle in. That's such a delicate way to put it. I like that.
settle in. I know. I'm so PC. I'm so PC.
Use that in the future.
You guys will learn that about me moving forward. I'm very politically
and the Helium Street people will learn that we're not. So
yeah, it'll be a good mix.
It's it all works. I think that's what it works.
Some kind of mix.
And
David,
so,
hey, I want to ask David, do you have a Helium? Did you ever run a Helium node?
I do. Yep, I have a little rack device. I have the gold version and I have a black version. So
And you're still running?
Yep, still running.
All right, that's me and Steven are the hit it and quit it, and you guys are the live forever.
No, I'm still up and running. I've made $14. I keep getting more tokens, but the amount stays the same. I don't know. I claim them in my wallet, and then my wallet amount never goes up.
And it's not to say that On-Chain Nation, which is On-Chain Nation, is our new brand, right? You're not going to hear us talk. You're not going to hear me say the words Helium Street moving forward, probably. Although all that content will still exist on On-Chain Nation inside of a playlist. And so if you're visiting, you're looking for Helium installation, antenna installation content, all that content still exists on the On-Chain Nation channel inside of a playlist called Crank Helium. And so I have it's all set up in there. So if you need to know anything about installation, that's where you go. But moving forward, there'll probably be a little bit less discussion about Helium and a little bit more discussion about diverse topics. The diversity of this team that we've kind of assembled here.
Four white guys with beards.
What are those niche oriented topics that you guys think that we're going to talk about in the future? Let's talk
Absolutely. About that. That's what's so great about that YouTube as a compendium of information, right? Yeah. Mike's done all this awesome work and it sits there. It doesn't go anywhere. The library of Carthage is just loaded with YouTubes on how to make your Helium antenna work. Yeah. I probably should watch some because mine doesn't work.
I could probably help you out with that too, Jeff.
We're really thinking about it. We really do have a pretty diverse group of people here, right? We've got David that's built GPU rigs, built servers, MSP background. We got servers getting built back here. Mike's got a whole shed full of ASIC miners, apparently.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of different ground that I think we're going to be able to cover. So very exciting transition, I think. And thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Making this all happen, Mike. Yeah, this is awesome.
I'm really looking forward to providing this channel as an outlet for folks who want to maybe continue on maybe a slightly different passive income journey. And and I think that's part of it, is the passive income side of it, but also it's just the exploration and the educational side of it, which is, I have to say, as long as I've been involved with the ScPrime community and the Funcles and it's almost like drinking with the fire hose with you guys a little bit sometimes. It's a lot of information. You take what you want out of it. And I think that and what you will find, I think, as moving forward with our future content, is that we're going to be talking to folks at a lot of different levels. I have a tendency to be very educational. Talking to the newbie folks and the folks that, just want to learn a little bit about it. And you guys will probably get to a higher level of detail from some of the technical. So I think it's a really good mix, and I'm really excited to move forward with you guys.
Yeah, us too.
Go team.
It's this new excitement. I'm enthusiasm with what we bring. I don't think of myself as a very technical person. I am here with the passion of the idea, right? I'm excited by it, and you'll hear that. You'll hear my excitement clearly. But I'm also not afraid to get technical. My background isn't in that, but at the same time, nothing's more fun than tearing things apart and figuring out how they work. And
we got a quick question from Jesus Sanchez over here in the chat. He says, "But at the end, is a dead project for you guys or not?"
I guess he's talking about Helium.
Or he's talking Helium. Helium or ScPrime, I don't think either of them are dead. Really, I think we've had a pretty crazy macro environment for the past year. You know, Helium went a little haywire at the get-go, and just like everything else within the decentralized infrastructure space, there.
Yeah,
The whole
I'll
thing's
just speak. If
together.
you know, I'm not seeing the comments. Oh, yeah, there it is. I gotta open up the comments. But if we're speaking of the helium in general, you know, I think that I feel like we're in a little bit of a holding pattern. Absolutely not a dead project at all. There's more to come, I think, in my opinion. Okay, this is obviously not financial advice. I gotta always say that at least once in any good
course.
any worthy YouTube video, right? Not financial advice.
We don't need Gary. We don't need Gary in our inbox.
No, hell no.
Gary.
But I think that the key point here is on Helium is that there's a lot of stuff in the works. There's a lot of stuff coming up. We have Helium 5G as something that's active. Could be happening. Could be something that's emerging, and so I would keep an eye on it for sure.
So, and then let's flip the question. If he was talking about ScPrime, Jeff, is ScPrime a dead project? What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, two things is I don't think he's talking about ScPrime, and the answer is no. So pointless. Going back to Helium on this. I want to say this. I believe that Helium got treasury rugged, you know, but the project isn't dead. And the problem is how people think about crypto. Deep in projects, decentralized physical infrastructure. There are how many Helium nodes sitting on people's rooftops and antennas around the world? Like, I don't know, it's a million?
That's like 800.
They're a million, yeah.
Right. So when those things are down, it's dead. When those things are up, it's alive. It doesn't matter what it does. If 800,000 people are playing along and they're pinging each other, there is an infrastructure. It's like if the roads and the bridges exist, then the roads and the bridges exist. Is it worth $20? Fuck off. It never was. It was just hype. Everyone got caught up in it. You know? But that's the problem with crypto in general. People think, oh my God, that's going to save the world with its thing. And it can't. But it can build a network. And that's going to do it all. That's what Bitcoin is. That's why we are where we are right now. And that's why this is a pretty good segue into the market at general, right? Yeah. Market at large is, we just had the frothiest, blood-sucking, crazy market over the past couple of years, right? We had a global pandemic. We had money dumped in left, right, and center. And then things changed, and eventually the hangover kicked in. It's like you drank 36 mango Trulies and had to stay up all night making pancakes. Like
took a couple days to get over it, too.
Yeah, like it's not going to happen instantly. And we had this unregulated, which is fun, but guess what? It's rife with opportunity to take advantage, and it's rife with speculation, and you don't know where these things are getting traded.
Yeah.
And then someone comes along and sells you Pepe coins, and it's like I still hold Pepe, by the way. I'm holding that. I got like 18 billion, and I'm holding them until I buy everybody Teslas.
I think what's happened has actually been kind of a good thing, though, right? Like, we need, if you have these decentralized infrastructures, and if you want people to take these actual usable products seriously, eventually you got to wash out all of this other, these other 13,000 projects and coins that are out there floating around doing nothing. You got to kind of let the cream rise to the top eventually, and it.
Right, and that's what Gary's doing, right? And I think he's do your own research. Yeah, I think he's a cunt, but it's like this has to get cleaned up somehow, Arthur, they bring in as soon as they bring in leverage trading, they're just robbing you. But that's where the money comes from, right? Money comes in because it's a casino, because it's fun. But at the same time, back to Helium, there's 800,000 nodes on people's roofs running. So is it worth $20? No. Is it worth half a cent? Doesn't matter. It still works. Hang on to it. Just because something exists doesn't mean it's worth $1 million, right?
At the end of the day, it's going to be worth the revenue that it can generate from actual customers is kind of how the whole thing will unfold, right? It's going to be valued similar to any other company. It's not some crazy scheme coin. It's you know, do you have McDonald's using your 5G network to sell milkshakes?
Right.
Then your token has more value once you have that. Once you have some real clients on there.
And there's a basic economic function in this that the only inputs into Helium, right, were that $500 box you buy that you paid $2,000 for, and that just led to the crazy gold rush. And you got to put up a pole, you got to plug it in, and you got to have the internet. There's no input. There's nothing going into this economic soup pot.
Yeah, right? It's sensor manufacturers. You know, the sensor manufacturers themselves, that's the input, and that's the input that's lagging behind. In kind of speaking in comparison to the way that the SCP Corporation or ScPrime Corp is handling it, they're selling nodes at the same rate of data acquisition, and so that didn't happen with Helium. They didn't limit the number of nodes out in the world as an appropriate ratio back to the data that was being purchased by sensor manufacturers.
Right.
And so that's where the inconsistency lies currently, I think, in that, which is an interesting comparison, right? Where
absolutely, but if you're not putting in, if the participant, the host, right, the person running the node, is not putting anything into the network other than a nickel of electricity, right? So it's just sitting there. There's 800,000, boom, 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 everywhere, and they're just sitting there. And they're like, it's locked capital, not actively doing anything with its capital, but it's waiting for something to happen, right?
Right, and that's where those sensor manufacturers need to step up.
Exactly, or right. Someone needs to start.
If there was an easy to use sensor that I could put in my rosemary bed that tells me when I need to water my rosemary, that needs my helium sensor, I'd go buy it. There's a lot of different use cases that.
But then why do you need to buy one that goes off? Why can't it run off of Wi-Fi? Why can't it run off of? Why you already have Wi-Fi too?
Because I already spent $1,100 buying an overpriced helium miner
But grandma, who just someone goes, wow, this is great for my garden. Yeah, she's not gonna climb a fucking antenna to stick a node up there so she can check her rosemary bushes, or pay somebody else for it, even if it's like, you know, pay for the premium subscription and you get to rosemary bush forever. You know, like why? It doesn't make sense. We have internet. We already have internet.
We already have internet.
We already have 5G. We already have Verizon. We already like this idea that hey, we're gonna build what already exists and then we'll own it. That's where that happiness came from, right? If you can do it better or like ridiculously cheaper, then there is value. If you can add on to it, but my thought with Helium is like always was, and I'm surprised it got this far, and I don't mean that in any kind of insult. And I'm glad it got 800,000 people that take part in it, but the this idea that Verizon just wasn't going to put up a sensor on every pole that they already have. The Verizon's not just going to go, oh, that's a good idea, thanks. We'll buy 1 billion of those. It's the old Apple effect, right? Like 20 years ago, Steve Jobs famously would just copy like a program and just turn it into the main program. Oh, people like MP3s? Great, watch this. Oh, people like editing video. Great, watch this. We're gonna build it. We're gonna build it better, and we're gonna build it and give it to you for free. And then you're gonna buy your computer, and it's gonna have this on it. And this company that made this MP3 player is just gone. BlackBerry gone. And
so you think part of the issue? So that same argument, AWS is a thing, right? But ScPrime to me still has a huge value because it has on-site erasure coding, it has on-premise relayer, it has improved durability, it has scalability. So there's like a few things on top of what's already been built. and Helium maybe didn't hit that to where they're bringing anything that special to the table.
They didn't. They tried to be a competing cloud in the exact same lane, right? In a very crowded lane. And like public cloud, AWS, Azure, Oracle, everybody's doing it because there's so much data, and it's agnostic. You do not give a flying whatever what cloud you are on. When you are using rosemary bush temperature testers or dog collars or your cell phone, you get a contract. You stay with that contract. You don't just hop. You don't decide, oh, this rosemary bush is going to be on this one. You just go with it. And they've
our buddy Project Cole Carey in chat actually has a pretty good point that the sensors do come into play in like extremely rural areas, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like I grew up in a place there was no cell phone signal. You had landlines, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of agricultural areas like that in the center of the country where those LoRaWAN or however you want to say it, sensors do make sense for
absolutely.
You can stand up your own network there if you need it. Kind of same you can do with Exas and cloud.
Right, that makes total sense. When you need to control a network and you can get an input and you can throw it around. I mean, I live in Brooklyn, for anybody that hasn't heard that yet. And when I stuck my Helium up on great line of sight and I looked at that map, and like there was literally 40 nodes in every hex. And it was just like it's saturated. And like there's Wi-Fi and there's every cell phone service you ever needed. Like what's your rosemary temperature doing? You don't even have a garden. It's like 8,000 people are trying to track a single dog collar. Like that's just how much money is that? How much money was spent to put in 8,000 nodes, right? that aren't doing anything. All right, let's talk about the market in general, because we started talking about the market here.
I'm gonna dip away. I'll let you guys continue talking.
David.
Yeah, David's our guy. David's our background guy. He's the producer. He makes
producer Dave
happen.
That's where I live. Yep.
Stay in my ear, David. We need you.
All right, let's pull up that screen that David's got some screens here. We're talking about the market is pretty frothy.
Ooh, bubbles. I've always really liked the look. I like TradingView, obviously, is your go-to thing. But there's something about the crypto bubbles that just gives you a really nice general overview. Like if I don't really have time to pull up an actual chart, I pull up this app on my phone and it's either green or it's red and the bubbles are big or the bubbles are small. So
I don't know what any of those things are. Oh, there's Pepe. That's good. I mean, I do. Woo.
Hex is doing a little run. Got HBAR doing a little run. A lot of shit coins running, but like this shows that the overall sentiment has kind of moved into a bullish. There was a little doom and gloom last week, I think, with Gary coming down and all the Binance debacle. I know I got an alert from Binance US saying, "Hey, we're gonna have to freeze USD offboarding and onboarding for a little bit. Hope that's not an issue." And I hadn't really been following any of the news that closely, so that was a little bit of a shock to me. But Jeff, maybe have you kind of followed what's taken place a little bit closer than I have? Can you fill me in a little bit?
Well, I mean, I think the Carey's dropping FTX hits. He's all excited for his FTX to come back alive. It's gonna kill him. I really feel that one of the big thing that's on the table right now is back to what I was hinting at, is a little bit of regulation. Mm-hmm. Gary and the SEC are trying to break the things that are breaking, and that's good. Like these shit coins are shit coins, and like a lot of these things, they're gonna get hit with the ICOs are gonna get hit, the pre-mines are gonna get hit. These companies that thought they could move all their like unreleased market cap into foundations to control and pretending that it's a nonprofit, they're going to get hit, right? This is just, these things you can't.
Like what the fuck is even Lido staked ETH, and why is it number 7? When did this happen?
Oh, that's a. I mean, it's because it's Ethereum. That's why it's an Ethereum.
It's
right?
just another Ethereum.
It's a Lido stake ETH, as I will stupidly say it wrong, is a coin that you stake your Ethereum, but then you can swap the coin as the coin. It's a token for staked Ethereum.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
some more Ethereum inception. Mike, have you ever done Ethereum shitcoin trading at all? Has that been in your wheelhouse?
No, it hasn't. I've been really focused on functional stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like Helium and SCP.
Mike's our practical guy. I mean,
Yeah,
I go back and forth. I get real practical, and then when things look goofy, I just go.
and not to say that there's obviously not enormous value in that stuff. That's the area where with my brain at least, is that those projects are easier for me to wrap my brain around. That's all.
Yeah.
I
think the other stuff is kind of just for fun, right? Like the layers can get really crazy. Like Jeff, remember that casino project that you roped me in on, the Kanto casino where you had.
Yeah, have you seen that they're ready? They're launching the rebuild.
Gambex. Really? Yeah.
Gambex they're calling now. Gambex.io is the website.
You had to send ETH to your MetaMask and then wrap that ETH and then send it to Kanto Chain and then Kanto Chain to. It was this whole, simple 18-step process to onboard to this protocol.
I mean, I think that's one of my favorite stupid things about this space is learning how to bridge and being like, what the fuck am I even doing? Like, I'm like, and it being like, if it's not in a single color text line, like, are you really using crypto? Are if you're not looking like it's 1974 and you're trying to fire nuclear missiles kind of thing. So before we go to ScPrime, I want to talk about BlackRock because that's the money, right?
Oh, right.
That is the magical money.
This just broke yesterday that the news came out? Day
June
before,
15th, right there, right?
Yeah.
So, and this Coinbase part is a sort of add-on. That's a new thing. I mean, so we've seen it happen a bunch of times, right? A bunch of people have applied for Grayscale did it. They've applied for ETFs, and an ETF is an electronically traded fund, and basically, it's a tokenization. When you buy an ETF that owns, whatever, Pepsi, Coke, Burger King, you own shares in the ETF and the ETF buys the other thing. So you don't own Pepsi, Coke, et cetera, et cetera. Bitcoin doesn't work that way. Bitcoin is like gold. And I mean that like in the nerdy way, like it's like pieces of gold in your hand. Even if Bitcoin's digital, if you own Bitcoin in a wallet, if you own Bitcoin on an exchange, if you own Bitcoin in a piece of paper from an ATM, that is the Bitcoin, right? You can't buy Bitcoin without owning Bitcoin. But if they make an ETF, you can buy Bitcoin from the ETF, and you don't
actually having with no custody. Yeah,
it's what Grayscale is, right? Grayscale is a company that owns a bunch of Bitcoin. If you buy Grayscale, you, in theory, are owning Bitcoin, but you're not. You're owning because you can't trade your bits of Bitcoin, but you can sell your Grayscale stocks.
Right.
But if you buy an ETF, then what BlackRock wants to do is turn Bitcoins into fucking numbers on the screen that they control.
Exactly.
There was a talk. Larry was on, I don't know, some MSBN thing. I saw a clip of it, and he's like shitcoins are shitcoins because they're not going to do anything. And Bitcoin is the token. Bitcoin is the pure token that the ordinals are fucking with it, and that's fantastic. I love that the ordinals have learned how to put inscriptions on Bitcoin blocks. It's
sneaky.
It's like writing check memos. It's like paying your rent and being like, I fucking hate you in the check memo. It doesn't mean anything, but guess what? They still get it, and they can't make it go away. But so BlackRock is real. BlackRock is the biggest hedge fund in the world.
And,
Right?
and BlackRock's kind of a funny thing, right? Like, a couple of years ago, there was all this news going around that, oh, BlackRock owns the world and Vanguard owns the world. They own everything. They don't actually own anything. They have a lot of purchasing power over these companies, and then they resell it to the public in the form of these ETFs.
Right. It's just a giant hunk of a monolith, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they don't, as far as them, they don't really own that much, I wouldn't say, right? That's not really exactly.
I mean, they're just getting rich off of rich, right?
Yeah.
They're just making money on transaction. But so the big thing about this is that BlackRock, filing for this ETF, they are the biggest hitter that's tried to do this so far. Grayscale is like Grayscale was what did they do? They were like a computer network program. I don't know. They were some bullshit company that got into Bitcoin. Now they're a Bitcoin company. Yeah. BlackRock is a financial services company. They are
one of the top players in the world, next to Vanguard and
right. And when they walk in and say, "Okay, we're going to do it," they're going to do it right. And they could get shot down. Gary could shoot them down, but that's
sure.
If you look at the top of that tweet on the screen there, Plan B, our stock to flow friend, congratulations to all the Bitcoin sellers. The last 2 months you have been front loading BlackRock. You've been dumping into them. And guess why you've been dumping into them? Because see you next Tuesday, Gary over there, that little weasel Gary, he's not a government employee, right? I mean, he is. He worked for the fucking government. He's a millionaire that made all his money on Wall Street. That, speaking of fucking FTX, that Gary was the advisor, and Gary says the Ethereum's not a currency, and all these things on tape.
Yeah,
Gary is a very rich man with very rich friends, and Gary was pulling up the ladder so that everybody else can't get rich. And Gary said, "Oh, Bitcoin's bad. You guys should sell." And Larry says, "Tell them to sell."
As the BlackRock friends are scooping it up.
Right, because guess what? If you're BlackRock, you can still buy Bitcoin. You just can't ETF it. Doesn't mean they can't hold $10 billion worth of Bitcoin. And then as soon as they ETF it, it goes up to 100 times, and then everything's cool.
Yeah. So, and what could be interesting, I wonder if, I don't know the regulations offhand, but I wonder if legally, if an ETF is required to hold the actual assets to back the ETF that they're selling, or if there's like
they're just going to buy a ton of it, and then
there's no fractional reserve system in place, kind of like how regular banks operate, where they only have to actually have 0.1% of your money.
Yeah, no, but yes, hedge funds. I mean, these funds own the funds, and then they token them out to you, and you can add in $1,000 worth of Bitcoin to your portfolio if you want. They'll let you have whatever you want if you pay for it. The thing that BlackRock's going to do differently that I was reading, that maybe why it might actually have a chance. One of the big concerns that they've always had with ETF Bitcoin has been how easy the market is to manipulate.
Right.
Like that. There's that Chinese video of everybody in the server farm all hitting sell at once and the market going down, everybody screaming, right? like it's too easy to manipulate because it's dark. But as it comes, this is the light, shining the light in. And that's what Gary did in a positive sense, right? That's why Gary's choking everybody out. That's why Gary's, giving CZ those 4 fingers and saying, "Not so safe," because guess what? I'm not going to let you pretend that it's like all cool. But then BlackRock's going to come in, eat the lunch. There's our rainbow chart. Look at that. Up, down, up, down. There we were at the bottom.
I was just smiling because Henry called you a hedge funkel. I thought that was pretty.
Henry called me a hedge funkel. Thanks, Henry. Hedge funkel. Okay, I got it. So here we are at the bottom, right? And the bottom is when you should be shoving things in your bag, left, right, 2 hands.
So where do we want to be in this? This is. I stole this from Ken, his famous regression band chart, right? I think this is maybe a Plan B thing originally. I've seen this chart around the internet quite a bit for the past years, but obviously it looks like up and to the right, we're at the bottom of this zone.
I mean, Bitcoin does only go up, right? That's the thing.
Yeah,
we touched that. we touching that bottom? There's literally, like, they can't ban it. I'm not a maxi. They can't ban it. But right now, I'm, buy the fucking dip. That's all that can be said. And then
buy the Litecoin too. I think, not financial advice, but Litecoin halving is, I think, 59 days away.
Yeah, Litecoin just leads into everything else. They're all runs, Yeah. We know it's gonna run. So, and that's the thing, right? It all runs. Guess what's next? I mean, I'd like to think that it's gonna lift these boats because we're cleaning out the bad boats. We're cleaning out these joke boats that like are holding 200 billion coins on circulated, like Filecoin, storage. The foundation owns like you can't make up 8 billion coins and then issue what the fuck is it? Oh, Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, Inu. Man, that thing's up.
2.5 points on the daily. That's
how you make money, right? But let's go back to that SCP chart, and like we know we're sitting steady. We've seen a nice whatever percent. The snakes woke up and took advantage. It's tricky right now because people are going to think they need to chase Bitcoin or chase Litecoin, or I mean, that was probably my talking just made everybody sell, right? But ScPrime is a real project based on a real actual thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's based on a transaction. It's like right now we're in that phase of Helium getting 800,000 nodes, right? Right now we're putting things on roofs, under couches, in your closets.
But our node growth only comes with actual customer data acquisition. That's the thing.
That's part of the project, right? It's not obviously we're not full. Your hard drives are not full, but and you can still buy an Exa, but the push on them.
Yeah,
we're pushing the other thing.
It's an intentional action by the corporation by ScPrime, is that we're selling nodes, marketing nodes, and selling the nodes at the same rate as data acquisition. So that's one of the key points of the entire project.
Absolutely. Can we go back up to just to get off the screen share here? David, can you take us out? Just watching Steven scroll around the internet let him do it on his own time. So the thing let's go back to a touch on Helium, and then let's go into the SCP, the flywheel here. The thing about Helium is if we have these 800,000 participants, right? Call them individuals or call them nodes. They are almost patently unable to drive any usage other than their own, right? We talked about this LoRaWAN and you running these on your farm. That's you're pinging your own node with that, right? You're in theory paying yourself to use it. Mm-hmm. You can't, I have no idea what I could buy, besides a dog collar or a key fob for my keys that would work on Helium, right? I have no way to, if I'm sitting in my house and I have a Helium antenna on my roof, I have no way to really use it, and I have no way to drive any traffic to it, and I have no way to make any revenue for it. I have no way to spend $1 on pings, right? There's a little bit. There's a little more to your day-to-day life, though, right? What about you got your city bike that you take to the pizza shop? It's on the Wi-Fi. It runs on AWS.
Right. I get you.
I think it's a little bit of a distinction between the two projects. With ScPrime, at least, we have the ability to participate.
Right, but participate hard.
Whereas Helium, you don't really have the option to participate, other than maybe in some really small ways. And I think that with the Helium is different than Prime, is that it's the UPS trucks that have the sensors in them that are maybe pinging off and connecting with these Helium hotspots as they drive down the road delivering packages. It's those types of manufacturers that are buying the the tokens so they can participate in the IoT network.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. That's my point here is like as a participant with a node, you have no way to use this network.
No,
really.
Not
or no,
really.
no way, like in any magnitude, right?
No.
You can't, like, and even if you did, even if you were a hustler and you were going to go and sell it to the Domino's and say, hey, Domino's, you should put one of these in every one of your cars so you can track all your drivers, right? You're like, you need to be a sensor manufacturer. You need
you do.
You can't
do. You'd have to actually, or there's some little things, but nothing to make a difference. Like I've got a Weather XM station on top of my house right now that connects to my Helium hotspots. That's a very small scale thing, right? Yeah. It's not, there's nothing in scale other than the manufacturers or the large companies.
Right. Because if you wanted to do Weather XM everywhere, you'd have to buy them all. And that it just, the only investment would be in the hardware, right? Because then once they're up, like how big a packet does it send to the Helium, right? It's like, and how much money is that worth? You know, like it's worth a millionth of a cent to send a ping. And
I was promised millions of Lime scooters, and somebody owes me answers.
Right, and they banned those, right? The revenue stream for Helium is the most annoying thing in major cities around the world. You know, It's Lime scooters, and wow, that didn't work. So what's next? And that's what I love about ScPrime. That's what I love about the whole XNS services. Is cloud is one, cloud is being used. Two, cloud is agnostic. But in ScPrime, anybody can get in to the transaction. You can use the cloud yourself. You get 50 gigs for free. All you got to do is turn it on. You got to enter your credit card into the billing. So if you use 51 gigs, they can charge you for that 1 gig. And that's it. And now you're using cloud. You're using 50, like 50 gigs is Dropbox charges you $20 for that.
Yeah. Yep.
So, so that's free. But that money still pays that 50 gigs still is paid for on host. And that's what the corp is doing that to grow, because ideally you don't use 50 gigs, you use 50 terabytes one day. And that's part of the business.
I think a notable thing that was really interesting to me when I started thinking about it is that, there was an opportunity for SCP Corp to sell a shed load of examiners at one point, right? There was the big boom. There was 20,000 orders, and at a certain point, the CEO said, "No, we're going to hold off on this until we get the growth." Mm-hmm. They've never, and now with the way some stuff that's going on in the partner program, he's not even the company isn't actually looking to just make money on the hardware. I think they could care less about making money on the hardware and making money on the software. They care about making money on the storage, right? Is where it all kind of comes together. So they're actually giving people, you can use the product. They're offering you can resell the hardware, you can resell the licenses, you can mine the coins on ASIC miners, you can be a storage provider. There's so many different aspects that you can get into it.
And then like the thing that like Flywheel is the biggest for me, right? We are the participants, right? We are the 800,000 Helium nodes. We are the ones on the ground, right? And we just talked about, or I just ranted about how no one's using Helium. And, Mike says UPS is, and that's a great use case. It's a suspicious use case because those drivers all have phones. I bet Amazon just has them. Amazon has their phones pinging and their camera, Just for clarity, Jeff, they're not using Helium.
Oh, okay. It's a hypothetical situation,
right? No, totally. And again, all those drivers have phones, and their phones are already there. And why would you pay something else? But the cloud, the public blob object storage cloud, is full and getting fuller and needing more. And when your phone does 4K and when a couple of idiots rant on YouTube, it has to go somewhere, right? It has to sit somewhere. The digital generation is constantly creating, and it's all accumulating, and all those Helium Street videos are sitting somewhere, and that's what is not stopping. And so our friend Tommy T. Rotten said this. He had a great tweet this week talking about solar panels. And the analogy is that if you're using electricity, and electricity can be made with solar panels, and if you don't catch some of what you're already paying for, then you're just letting it fall to the ground outside.
Right.
So if you are a cloud customer, and that's who this network is for, right? This network is not about 3,000 people standing up 60 petabytes just for the art of it. And that's what Helium did. It's 800,000 people stood up network for the art of it. And there's no use to that yet. But the cloud is being used, and the cloud is agnostic, and your app, your S3 app, will point to our S3 network just like it point to any other S3 network, except that ours is encrypted at source and more reliant and permissionless, and whoa, it's so much cheaper.
Well, and durability is a huge thing, right? Because, you know, AWS and these bigger data centers, sure, they have their 11.9s, but your 11.9s are actually
not your 11.9s, they're everybody's 11.9s.
Yeah, you go from Virginia to one other data center, and then within that data center you get your redundancy. There really isn't, you know, you're talking about two structures that have to get taken out, and then millions of people's pull up the screen share one more time. I kind of want to look at this just real fast.
And it's not even some significant downtime with AWS.
They went down. Yeah, it was like on Thursday.
A website that Jeff showed me earlier, where it's like a timeline of all the major outages that have happened with Amazon. We probably shouldn't be live streaming talking crap on AWS. We might get hits put out on us.
No,
but
it's a comparison. You should do your comps, right?
Yeah.
And so the thing is, Stephen, you just mentioned that you're backed up on 2 data centers, right? You're on one data center and you're backed up somewhere else. The problem is that you don't have access to the second one. They have your data somewhere safe, but you can't get it. When one goes down somewhere else, go to the far right. The far right is this week's, right? And you know, it's not DS, it's not DNS. There's no way it's DNS. It was DNS. First line there. Guess what? It's DNS. The network wants to connect to something. And if the DNS is down, this is the cloud duck. This is the whatever, the duck, stupid DNS hopping issue.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody points to east1.aws, right? Everybody points to it. And if it's not there, it's not there. And your computer's not, you're not going to connect to nothing. The end.
It's a huge security thing, right? Like if you think about the scale of how much of the world's infrastructure runs out of these just few facilities.
Yeah,
you know, even globally,
they're not few. There's tons of them, but you're all going in the same door.
I think there's fewer than some people might expect. I don't have anything pulled up for it, but if you were to pull up a global map of data centers, it's a lot less than you would think. And so, you know, all your banking's running on that, all your credit card infrastructure, all of your
well, I think a lot of your banking they have secure their own, you know. They're not running it live off that. Your apps are running off of this, you know,
right.
But the banking itself is not waiting for a meteor to fall on it. So yeah, let's go back to the cameras here. So the point, back to that DNS thing, when you're running something like ScPrime and you have your relayer, when you're running ScPrime, forget something like it. There is nothing really like it. You have your relayer, and your relayer can be on premise, which effectively neuters the need to have a DNS hop. You put your data to it, and it shards and sends to the data set. And that's not just one place in Virginia, right? It's 50, it's whatever ratio you need it to be at, how important this data is. Also, you can use an endpoint. You know, that is a function. You can connect to it remotely. You know, and right, then you are at risk of not obtaining your data right now if that DNS is down. But that's not mandatory. You know, there's no Amazon on premise. You can snowball it and load it up and ship it out, but they don't drive it to your house when you need it again. They'll be like, hey, I need those files, and they don't, and if they do, guess how much money that costs, right?
Yeah.
When you go, hey, I'd like to download my entire hard drive. Like, oh, okay, that'll be $8 billion, please. So, but back to Tommy's point about solar panels, right? If you're this company and you're using the cloud, that's the market, right? We want you to be using the cloud, and you're pushing up into your relayer on premise, and you're putting it across the network distributed. If you do not also have an EXA on the floor in that same room, or an EXA in a rack in that same room, pulling back some of that solar power, you're catching those rays, and you're catching part of your own rays because you can use your data set, right? Say you put 20% to your own provider set, you are effectively paying yourself to store your own data, and you're getting paid back on your node, right? You're getting paid back SCP for storing your own data that you paid to put on there, but that's a discount. And then this is the thing, this is the talk this week, right? We talk about these coins in dollars. We talk about cloud in dollars, but the coin is not dollars. The coin is terabytes. The coin is a transactional token to store on the cloud. And so if you're buying terabytes, you're paying for terabytes, and then your EXA's on the floor, and it's solar powering itself some more terabytes, and those terabytes are credits for when you store the next terabyte next month. And it's, if you got a 64 terabyte system, which is the standard EXA, and you're paying to store 64 terabytes or whatever equivalent, it's not all yours, but your EXA can be filled with other data from the network, encrypted, that you're getting paid for. And so that's this flywheel, right? And then the people like us sitting here, we are the ones that have these, high in the desert on mushrooms vision of how this flywheel comes together, because anybody can step in at any point of this flywheel and capitalize it, right? You can step in, you could take $1,000 to Trade Ogre, and you could just buy yourself a bag of terabytes, and you can hold those. You can hold them until other people need terabytes. And when they need them, the price is going to go up. And
so currently, basically, you're buying storage at a discounted rate with this stage of the project and the current market cap and the current coin price. Yeah. You're essentially buying. You can go out and buy petabytes of potential storage for next to nothing right now.
Right, for yourself, for your own company, right? If you go, oh man, I need to store 5 terabytes for the next 5 years. Oh, I can pay pennies on the dollar.
Right.
Even if you end up paying $8 a terabyte, which is dirt cheap compared to Amazon, right? Even if that's what in December 2027, you need to pay $8. That's what your contract is. But imagine if you could buy those $8. Each of those 8 single dollar bills cost 13 cents. And even if you don't need to store 5 petabytes, you can go and buy those 8 single dollar bills for 13 cents each and resell them to the guy that didn't think ahead, right? You can buy yourself EXAs and fill them up. You can sell data. You can find that buddy with the business that has a bunch of video cameras and is backing up his stuff to Amazon and paying through the arse for it. And you can go in and say, hey man, I got a good idea. And you can get in the partner program, and you can start stacking those terabytes, and he can get a discount on stacking his terabytes, and yada, yada, yada. And that's the flywheel. 2 words, flywheel. And that's
flywheel is my next tattoo. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it right here, either on the neck or maybe side of the face, kind of a Mike Tyson sort of vibe. But
is it going to be like a big fly on a steering wheel kind of thing?
I don't know. I think that On-Chain Nation logo is kind of flywheelish a little bit. It is kind of flywheelish. And I thank you, Abby, for throwing that together. By the way.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah. Awesome work. That should be maybe the next tattoo.
Yeah. Come donut. Let's pull up. I want to talk real quick. I got a few more minutes. I wanted to talk about this coin competition for a minute.
So, terabyte competition.
The terabyte competition. Let's see. I haven't checked on it in a while, so let's see how everybody's doing on it.
So those of you who don't know, some of the OG foreigners in the Discord channel are running a bag builder contest. The prizes are just ridiculous, and they keep changing, but they keep getting bigger. So it's the right kind of change, right?
Yeah, I think they just changed it to where first place is now going to be 75,000, and
it's the top 20. Also, it's the top 20 holders, right?
So, like right now, the 20th position is 511 SCP. So if you go buy 512, you're automatically going to get. I think it's like 2,500, 3,000. If you
of SPF
of SPF, SPFA, yeah.
Which are factored in some kind of value.
Look, it's right here.
2,500.
They even listed the rules on the website. That's fantastic.
There's no rules. Click the rules button. Does it do anything?
Let's see. Oh yeah.
There we go. Buy some coins. Register your address. You have to buy them on Trade Ogre. It says you need to screenshot everything because they're going to audit you, the winners. I believe that there's like 2 more weeks of this. It got extended too.
Yeah, they threw it out.
Let's go back to the scoreboard there. So some people, are Gotham chess. Look at those. There's just some serious bag. 100,000. That's 530,000 just in the top 5.
I wonder if there's nothing that shows the total, but it looks like we're probably creeping up on 1 million coins that have been purchased through this, or 600,000 or 700,000. It looks like.
No, I think they were up to closer to 900,000 yesterday. I think.
Really, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's less than 55 million coins, right? Yeah. In total, less than 55 million terabytes to be owned.
Yeah.
And here they are. This is working in so many ways. People are accumulating, people are holding, and people are getting a reward for this, right? People are getting a big fat bag of SPF, and that's the fund token. Total is at the top. Henry says, I don't know. We can't scroll. Only Steven can scroll. Oh, no, 902,000 already bagged.
Bing bong. Not bad.
Bing bong is right. Fuck your life if you don't got enough of this already. So
wanted to throw a quick plug on that. I think the investors, Jordy, Andy, Ian, Jeff, if he's involved, I think it's been a pretty hugely successful competition, and it's been really fun to watch and be in 35th place, not really participating like I should be. But yeah, good job, folks.
Yeah, it's exciting. And it's good for price, it's good for your bags, it's good for your wallets, it's good for future fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's something that everybody should be aware of. And if you have any questions about the rules, don't ask because no one's sure.
We'll leave Jordy's email address in the description of this video. So if you have questions,
his home phone number. Henry has it, right?
We'll share his home phone number.
We'll have plenty of links in the description section of this video for anybody that's looking for anything specific.
So Stephen and Mike, I know that our friend Tony from Australia, has some SPF in a bag from the last contest we gave away.
Yep. And
I was thinking that a fun thing for us to do is for us to give away some SPF. And so Tony said he's got 2,000, and so let's keep this going for a while. We're going to give 500 SPF to the best comment on this video.
Beautiful.
And to win this, it will be judged by us. It's not, and maybe everybody can vote on them, thumbs up and thumbs down, but we're still going to pick it. We're going to pick it on the show next week, so you have until next episode.
Oh, awesome.
And you have to like the video, and you have to thumbs up.
But not in the Not in the chat, in the actual comment section.
Yeah,
That's the
comment
video
section. Right. You have to. It has to be a comment on the video. You have to be following us, and you have to like the video, obviously to qualify. But then you have to leave a good comment, and it's not.
Don't worry, I'm writing down the rules right now as we go, so we'll have this well documented.
Rules are we put that 500 SPF to be given out next Saturday on whatever that day is, and with that comes some comments. And I guess
you got to like. You don't have to like, but we want you to like. We want to follow, and then leave an insightful comment that will be judged by the.
Or stupid,
Funcles.
or funny, or I think Henry's hedge Funkle is pretty good, but doesn't count. It needs to be.
Yeah, it's got to be in the comment section.
Comments.
What's up, Crypto Shinobi? Crypto Shinobi, you're a little late to the show, but this is once we're done with the live stream, this will be saved to the channel. So feel free to come back and review.
And I guess we're reaching the end of our time here together.
Yeah, we're getting there. I think
it's been really nice of you to let us into your street.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to moving forward here, guys, and I think that the community is going to really appreciate the level of diversity that this team offers, and we're going to keep sharing really cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be SP heavy for sure, but we're also going to talk about the other things in our lives, and I'm sure that Helium is going to keep coming up. So especially if people want to talk about it, people want to ask questions, then we can address those as we go.
But I've got server cam. I've got my server camera set up. I got a second webcam for this. So if anybody wants to tune in and watch me install 1.5 terabytes of RAM here in a week or two, that might be entertaining. Truly in RAM installs.
Yeah, Zach can live comment over it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Tell me I'm putting it in backwards. Awesome, guys.
Otherwise, I guess that's it. We got this lovely new background that's kind of creepy, but I'm glad you guys did that. And, a lot of things happen around here when I go to work, and you guys are left with Photoshop.
Yeah.
And
I like it.
Thanks again to David for all the hard work, and thanks we got all of our videos, right? We loaded up. The old Funcles videos are on Helium Street now, so you could watch them if you wanted to. I don't know.
Get there.
I wouldn't recommend it, but leave a comment.
Yeah, we're gonna load up. We're gonna load up as much of the content as we can. It makes sense. Not that we can. That makes sense. Back onto the On-Chain Nation YouTube channel, and then moving forward, anything that we share here is gonna be there.
Yeah.
And you're gonna want to subscribe because we got some big things happening. I decided yesterday that I'm gonna write an ebook, and by ebook I mean have ChatGPT write an ebook. There will be hamburger recipes in the ebook, of course.
Known as red sauce. You gonna drop that? You gonna drop that one in there?
So what's that ebook going to be about, Jeff?
It's going to be about SCP and network and flywheel and all the ways to take part. And it's
so an easy read for all different levels, probably, right?
Yeah, it's information. It's creating the stuff we're talking about, writing it down, steps through it, how to lead. There's a big internet out there, right? Decentralized physical infrastructure is a real interesting growth area. And I know a lot of people love it because it's great for passive income. You set up a box on the corner and it does what it does. And I sincerely do your own research, believe that stacking terabytes is going to be one of the most logical, profitable, rewarding projects to be in, a direction to play. And again, like I said, there's so many ways that you can self-capitalize in this. You can entry. This is a permissionless network. Hey, Jeff Bezos, I'd like to buy 6 hard drives and put them in your data center. And will you give me a piece of the cut? They're not even going to answer you. That's not even a thing. You can't even pretend that's a thing, right? Hey, Dominic, can I bring a bag of pizza? Can I bring a bag of pepperoni to your place and make some money off of it?
And then profit share with me, Domino's.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. They're like, what are we going to use it for? We'll buy it wholesale. So this is you. This is you plugging in your 64 terabytes into the terabyte generating machine.
And you're going to write an ebook and teach everyone the ways of how to jump in the flywheel.
Oh, I think I said I'm going to write an ebook, but I meant we are going to write an ebook. So
Oh.
I need like 20 pages each by tomorrow. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
And I guess that's it.
Speaking of fuck off, I got to get out of here. Like I said, I got a 11 o'clock appointment. So again, Mike, thanks. David, thanks. Abby, thanks for the awesome logo. Thanks for everybody that stopped by. Thanks, Jeff, for showing up.
Hey, I'm always showing up.
And yeah.
All
right. Like, comment, smash, win my SPF.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye.
And that's it. End scene.